Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast.
What is cracking?
Must be a mutation, a freak of nature. The stories of the brutal murder.
Less is more. You want more brutality. I like The Fog, I like The Mist, I like both of them.
I'm not asking if you like both of them, dude.
Surely I made enough noise to awaken the dead.
And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I am your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for you, folks.
Always a doozy.
Always a doozy,
Always
my
a fucking
friend.
doozy. Unless when it's not. Like, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Sometimes we don't have doozies.
Sometimes it's not a doozy.
And sometimes we do, and then we don't know they're doozies.
Also, sometimes we think it's a doozy.
And then we listen and we're like, well,
Not
you're mumbling through the
always a
whole.
doozy.
You're always mumbling through the whole.
But we're cool with that.
Right, it's good.
And
It's
we're
good.
figuring shit out. I mean, we you know, the audio, we're trying to figure out the audio and the video at the same time.
Yeah,
now.
we've only done 18 episodes. We should not know what's going on by this point in time.
It's true. We're
Right.
still figuring it out.
We're ready.
But we're doing good. If
Like
you're
we
listening
should.
on Spotify, Google, Apple, Buzzsprout, all the good old audio.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, all the good audio platforms.
Right.
Thank you. That's
Mm-hmm.
what's keeping us going.
Right.
A lot of you guys are listening on the audio platforms, but for those of you watching, we really appreciate it. Trying to build the YouTube channel up.
Yep.
It's going well so far. So if you're listening audio and you want to see video, switch over, right?
Yep. And subscribe.
And subscribe to the channel, please. We would really appreciate it. First things first, man. Episode 19.
Episode fucking 19. Here. Cheers.
Tequila shot like we do every time.
Tequila. Tequila.
Go smoother down every time.
And we switch it up. We don't always drink the same tequila.
Not the same tequila, but always tequila.
Always tequila.
Which
It
is-
is always tequila.
Which is funny because I love tequila. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I am a whiskey guy.
Yep.
But-
I was always growing up. I
Yeah.
couldn't drink vodka because some people have told me I get ornery. Go figure. I get a little ornery when I drink
whatever.
vodka. So I stay away
Yeah.
from the vodka, but I love the whiskey, love the tequila.
I am definitely a whiskey guy. I love bourbon. I love scotch.
Well, going
But-
back to whiskey, I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre episode, we drank a
Yes.
full bottle of whiskey.
Texas
Me, you-
whiskey. Good whiskey.
Texas. Yeah, that was like scotch, really.
Yeah, it was really good whiskey. Go listen to that episode if you haven't.
Yeah. Good old Sandman.
But yeah, we always do.
The Sandman brought in a bottle of fucking nice,
And it was something different. It was
right? And it
nice.
was something different. Neither one of us have tried it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had a good time with
Now,
it.
don't get me wrong. We did our tequila shots
yes.
as well.
Yes, we did.
We never pass on the tequila shots.
No.
Just something about this podcast really brings out the tequila.
Right.
And
You
we
gotta
always
feel
do the
good.
tequila. I love tequila.
Like you
It's always
should.
great. It just gets you going. Get you going for the episode. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, we got a doozy for you, folks. We're doing Hatchet 2, part 2 of our Hatchet series. If you haven't listened, if you're listening right now and you haven't listened to the first part,
Go listen to it now.
Stop what you're
Episode
doing.
17.
go listen to episode 17 for Hatchet part 1.
Yep.
This is part 2. So let's dive right in, man.
Danielle Harris.
Actually, you know what?
Oh.
We're not diving right in.
We're not diving right now. We're going to go to the cards.
Yeah, we have a new segment for you guys. We are going to start doing some horror trivia. We thought it'd be fun. We got some of these cards. We thought it'd be cool to ask the audience a question and ourselves a question,
Right.
just to test the horror knowledge. So we'll ask a question right now, and then we will give the answer, and we'll try to guess the answer as well. We're not going to look.
No.
Well,
I kind of have
you
to
kind of
look,
have to
right.
look. So really, we'll give the audience the whole episode pretty much to see what you
Mull
think.
on it. Right.
Exactly.
Mull down, figure it out.
So at the end of the episode, we'll give the answer. So
Okay,
let's hear that 1st.
I'm going to go right
question.
off the top.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
In which year was The Silence of the Lambs released? A, 1987 or B, 1991?
All right. So remember that, folks. What year was the Silence of the Lambs
released
released
87 or
87
91.
or 91, and
And
stay tuned.
and I love this movie.
So good.
And I know it, and I saw the answer. Like,
so you know it,
I can't.
but you knew it anyway.
Right, I knew it anyways.
So we will get back to that
Yeah.
at the end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned and give us your answer, and we'll give
what's
you
your
the
guess?
actual answer. 91 for sure.
Oh, dude, you're wrong. It's 87.
I don't care either way. We'll give him the answer at the end.
Right.
I say 91.
Maybe it's 87.
We'll see what the audience
Maybe
has
it's
to
91.
say. Exactly. So let's dive right in here. Hatchet 2.
Right.
I think it was it 2007?
I think so.
I think so. Just fact check us. Fact check
Fact
us
check
on
us.
that.
There were never fact checkers until people started telling the truth.
until you had to fact check.
Right.
Apparently. We in this movie we picked up right where we left off from from part 1.
In the boat, Victor
Yes.
Crowley has
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth fucking in a chokehold.
Yes.
And that's where the original movie stops.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, it's insane. Danielle Harris appears.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she's in the
Are you kidding me?
Right. I mean,
We got a different actor? Usually I don't like it.
I know. I don't like it either.
Yeah.
But dude,
In this case,
Danielle Harris,
she's a scream queen,
right?
icon of horror.
If
And
you
it was
can-
the right move.
If you can give me Danielle Harris in anything, I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah, and she was
a minx.
so she was also supposed to do she was considered for Hatchet 1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam Green decided to go with the other actress that played Mary Beth,
Why?
which did a
Why
fine job. I'm not
Right?
saying
No, but what? But did he give a reasoning?
he might have. I mean, I haven't listened to like
Yeah.
every interview. Maybe he did.
Right.
But it was to the point where there were some problems with that actress who played Mary Beth. She couldn't play Mary Beth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam Green asked Danielle Harris if she could play
Best movie.
Mary
ever
Beth.
made.
And this is what she said. She said, if you admit that you were wrong to not cast me as Mary Beth to begin with, then I'll play Mary Beth. Of course, he had to say, I was
Get down
wrong.
on his knees, fucking.
Yeah.
Just like
He had
every
to-
man has to do
Yeah,
at some
exactly.
point in time.
And
I was wrong.
And it's true. Now, the one thing that'll make this series... Now, of course, this is part 2 of our series. We still have Hatchet 3 to do. And we still have Hatchet 4, which is titled Victor
Victor Crowley, right? Yeah.
We still have 2 more to do. It would have been... This is the one thing wrong with the Hatchet series is you had to switch actors there.
And we've seen that in other movies too,
Of
and
course.
I hate it.
And it
And I hate the
sucks.
switching of even TV shows.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of TV shows out there where season to season you're getting different people, and it's like,
Yeah, it sucks.
it's tough for continuity. It's tough for to continue to go on with this when you because I know like a lot of horror fans out there, they feel certain things with certain characters.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Character development.
Character
really.
development.
You get used to the
and we've
antics.
talked about it. There's not a lot in Hatchet.
No.
It's not like you get emotionally involved with any of these characters.
No.
So that's, I think, why it works with
Yeah.
this one. And you have a prominent star, Danielle Harris. She's a fucking scream queen. She's a minx.
Exactly.
She's a beautiful woman
Yeah.
who's playing this role. And so when you switch it and you jump into it like you do, I think it makes it easier because Hatchet was bigger than it was ever supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, of
So
course.
so I think when you switch actresses, fine.
Yeah. And usually also, it's usually the other way around where like the first actor is usually better. And then people
Yes.
don't like to switch
Right.
because the acting isn't as good.
Yes, because usually you're losing it because they're on to bigger and better things.
Yeah. Or
And
they ask
and
for more money.
Exactly. In this case, it wasn't that.
No, in this case,
Because
you get a better actor.
you're actually getting a better actress, yes,
Yeah.
to play the role, and she kills it.
Yeah,
I
oh
mean,
my
she
God.
kills it. I mean,
so good. And you're right. And what Danielle does well is she picks up, like just as the movie picks up right where the first one left off, she picks up where Mary Beth left off. She does a very good job of jumping right in where like that's probably hard to do. right? Because you're,
She's a pro though. Like she's
Absolutely.
understood what's going on in
but
the
you have
horror
to-
genre, especially.
absolutely, but you have to pick up where this character left off emotionally
Right.
throughout an entire film. Now, I don't know, maybe Adam Green decided, hey, let's film that scene at the very end so Danielle has a chance to catch up with this character, right?
Right.
So maybe he did that, but she did it either way. She did a very good job of picking right up where the old Mary Beth left off, and you just don't notice it that much right off the bat.
You
It's-
don't. Well, if you watch
it's a
them
good
back, if
transition.
you watch them back to back, you're gonna notice.
Of course.
I mean, but if you're watching these 6 months in between, you're like, okay, I don't. Okay, oh yeah, shit. This is where it left
Yeah,
off. This is
yeah.
where the first movie left off,
Yeah,
and you don't notice it because it literally picks up where it left off.
exactly.
So then you're going into a whole nother scenario. You're going into a whole nother plot. You've got the fucking pea jar.
yeah.
I mean,
So funny,
it's
dude.
and that's comedy gold that most people wouldn't pick up on unless you watch the first one
Exactly.
just before this.
Exactly. And it's hilarious. It's
Right.
hilarious, dude. Hatchet 2 does a great job of just picking up where the first one left off and pushing that same style of horror, right? Like you've said in the past, you're not a big horror comedy guy.
No, I'm not.
And I wouldn't consider this horror comedy, but there's
no,
a lot of...
there's a lot of little subtle moments where you
Yeah.
can laugh,
Yeah.
especially if you know what they're trying to do. They're not.
Yeah.
It's not a funny situation. Oh, drink this, it's warm.
Yeah,
When he
yeah.
hands it to her and he's like, drink this, it's warm. It's literally a pee jug that you'd get in a hospital.
And you see him drinking
Where-
it through the first one,
Right.
which is hilarious.
Right.
Jack Crackett.
And if you're a woman, you've probably never had to use this.
Of course.
You've never had to use a pee jug, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
And piss into a fucking bottle that has a little
Yeah,
shape
curve
to it. Right.
It's like, here, piss it. Here. Here.
pee into this.
Yeah.
And then he's like, drink this, it's warm. and you look at it and you're like, whoa.
And she goes to like take a sip, and then he says, "What's your name?" And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah, she keeps
Mary Beth
putting,
Dunstan, you
She
know?
keeps putting it into her mouth, and then she puts it down. And you're like waiting for her to drink
yeah."
it.
You're like, "Oh my god!" If you're a fan of the first one, you got to be a big fan of the first one.
You do.
You know, this
you
is
have to
this
understand.
is like
It's a little moment that's not really recognized.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of
That
those.
guy drinks his own piss.
There's a couple of those in this movie where
Yeah.
there's some little subtle things that you wouldn't notice unless if you're a hardcore fan of the first one,
Mm-hmm.
or you really pay attention to details in movies. Like, there's a scene obviously when she gets kicked out of Jack Crackett's house because he says, "Oh, you're Mary Beth Dunstan," I think is the last name.
Right, Dunson. Yeah.
He realizes what her name is and who she is. I was out here looking for my father. Oh, I know
You
who
need to
you
get
are.
out
You're
of here,
You're
right.
Samson Dunstan's kid.
You need to get out of here.
You need to get out of here. So obviously that sets up the entire movie of why is her father such a
right.
big character
What's so
now.
taboo about
because
this
in the
guy?
first one he's
Right.
not, right?
It's a very small role. You get 5 minutes in the beginning of
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger and his son that he calls
Exactly.
a queer or whatever,
Yeah,
a fag
yeah.
or whatever he calls him. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that's it. You just think he's a bigot, whatever. You know?
Yeah, you got to remember Samson Dunstan is Robert Englund.
That's why I said Freddy
Yes,
Krueger.
great, great.
I just wanted to talk to the fans.
Of course,
you
of
know?
course. So she ends up running out of there because he doesn't want her there, and now Jack Crackett has been very, he gets to live in the woods because he's been at peace with Victor Crowley. He says
Right.
the ghost let me lives here. He doesn't.
Right, he doesn't
I mind my
bother me.
business.
Yeah.
He minds his. And so she ends up leaving. And you get some cool references throughout the movie. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when she's back in New Orleans, and it's this movie this is a day later, not even, this is hours later from the first movie. So it's still Mardi Gras,
Right.
and we see someone puking on the ground, and it's Adam Green. It's
Go
the
fucking
director,
figure, right,
Adam
yeah.
Green's character, who we see in the first one with the two main characters here.
Yeah. And he's wearing
He's wearing the marijuana necklace,
Yes,
right?
I was
He's
just-
puking in the corner now. He's had a crazy night, right?
Right.
So I thought just little subtle shout outs, and we'll get into some more as we get into the
And
episode.
we also see the shock, and the only titties we see through the movie
Yeah.
are from the video camera.
Actually, not true.
We do get
We
more.
get a couple more, which we'll get into.
We do get more titties. But no, that shot where he's going through the video camera. Let's see what
Jack
my haul.
Crockett.
Let's see what my haul
Which
is
is cool.
tonight.
It just all kind of ties in. It really allows you to
And-
be like,
and you-
I'm
I was
still in
true-
the first movie. you
I
know?
was truly waiting for the girls from the first
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Like honestly,
which
I was,
you get.
I was. You don't really because it's
Well,
different.
character wise, you don't.
Right,
But like,
right.
you can tell they're a little bit. They filmed it later for sure.
Right, exactly. Yes.
They're a little bit older.
Right. And then you see the girl from Frozen, she's in it and you think you're going to see the tits.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't. You don't
The
see
girl
it.
from Frozen, man.
Yes.
So that's another. So on the TV.
Yes.
So you see her, and it's a shout out to Frozen.
No, she's the girl, right?
No,
She, in
different
the shower?
girl. Mm-mm.
That's
different
not
girl.
the same
and
girl.
we're gonna go into this. Different girl. Okay. So you get her and you get these two in the shower, which are the same, obviously the same ones from the first one,
Hermaphrodite, with all that shit.
which is
yeah.
hilarious, right? So Jack Crackett's going through. He's like, "Ooh, this is nice, right?" And then you get like, obviously it's Shapiro, his name, and then you
Right.
get him creeping on some younger ladies.
Okay, no, he wasn't creeping because she says, I'm only 14 years old. And he's like, that's just wrong.
Well, Jack wasn't, but Shapiro.
Shapiro
was
totally was,
He
yes.
was creeping, but Jack
Which-
Crackett's like, that's not right.
Which I love that shock factor of it because you couldn't do that now. I mean, you could not do that now. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning kiddie porn. I'm not condoning anything like that. But I'm saying that shock factor of being able to be in your face of somebody who's obviously a sick individual.
Yeah, and it makes
You know
it
what I
makes
mean?
him
And following
even
the-
more sicker
It
than the
does,
first
and
one.
it does, and I
You're
think
like, oh, this guy's like sadistic.
right, and you know me. I
Yeah.
love the shock factor, and I love the shock of that. That girl probably
Yeah.
wasn't 14 years old.
No,
she was
obviously.
she was obviously 20,
the actor
21.
obviously wasn't.
Right.
But you get the
But
idea
I'm
that
saying, yes, that moment of her saying, "I'm only 14 years old."
you're like, you're taken back.
There's a lot of people out there nowadays that would just totally shun this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. They wouldn't even go any further than this.
Well, it was the same thing when we talked about Sleepaway Camp a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
Where like you can have like the chef. I think it was the chef. You couldn't
The
have,
chef, yeah.
You couldn't have that type of character anymore. But back then it was that was what was creepy. It was the shock factor of like, oh yeah, these people exist.
Well, there are people that
Yeah,
exist
exactly.
like this. That's
That's
what
the
makes
whole
it
point
so
of
real. Right.
horror is it's uncomfortable because like in the first Hatchet, like Shapiro's like he's a creep, but like it's funny at the same time.
Like, I know we're getting off, I'm gonna get a little off topic here.
Yeah.
But when I talk to people like my brother, you know what I mean. I've recently showed him Hereditary.
Yeah,
And he was watching it, and he literally texted me. He's like, "Why would you even make me watch a movie like this?" And I'm like, "Look, if they're making you feel a certain way, anxiety, Mother is the same
of
way.
course, yeah.
If you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling something like you don't want to watch this, you don't want to fucking be seeing
That's
this.
the whole point.
That's what the director is trying to do.
Exactly.
And so you say bravo to them
Yeah,
because you're making somebody feel a way that like I shouldn't be watching this.
Exactly.
I should not be seeing this. I don't need to be seeing this.
yeah.
And to me I say bravo for that.
Well, absolutely.
Because there's not enough people out there now that are willing to press the envelope a little bit.
Because they're afraid of getting canceled and
that's exactly what I was.
which is like horror movies. Like you can't cancel because that's the whole point,
right. You want to make people feel irritable. You want to make them
Exactly.
feel
I
uncomfortable.
mean, what are we gonna do next? Cancel like demonic possession movies?
Well, that is what's next.
I-
That's the
scary.
slippery slope you get on.
That's
when you
scarier.
start canceling certain things, where do you stop?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I think horror fans, I think every fan needs to get out there and say, look, this is art.
yeah,
This
exactly.
is a media for people to express themselves, and it is sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes you don't feel good watching something.
Yeah.
Like the 14-year-old.
exactly.
I'm
It's
only
weird.
I'm only 14 years old, but you look at it and you're like, you have to accept it for what it is because
Yeah.
there are people, there are creeps out
Well,
there.
yeah.
that-
There's a realism to
there's
it.
a realism to it, and also art kind of portrays everything
Yeah.
in life. You know what I mean? And if they're making you
Whether
feel
it's good or bad.
right? And if they're making you feel a certain way, That's what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
That girl wasn't really 14 years
No.
old, like we were saying. You know
It's
what
an
I mean?
acting job, but
Exactly.
also it brings you. It's a good move by Adam Green because it's like it brings Shapiro, who's like the weird
Piece of shit. Right.
fucking guy trying to make his own
Sleazeball.
Girls Gone Wild
Right.
video. Because in the first one, it's kind of like funny because
It
like the
is.
girls are stupid
Yes.
and like it's hilarious.
Yes, it is. Right.
But then in this one, it kind of like at the beginning, like you see that and you're like, oh, he really was a fucking weirdo.
he was a creep.
He was a
weirdo.
You're
True
like,
fucking
oh, okay,
creep.
now
right.
now the humor of the first one is gone.
Right.
Like he's already dead, but
Yeah.
now he's coming back as this weird. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah, you
that's
got
fucked up.
that JVC fucking camera,
Yeah.
whatever the fuck
He
it
wasn't.
is,
He
you
wasn't
know?
just into filming like regular, like a Girls Gone Wild tape. He was into some other weird shit.
Yeah, he was into any girl that he could get his hands on, and
Yeah,
you
and
know
then
what I
you
mean?
still get the Adam Green giving a nod, being like, Jack Crackett saying, "Oh, I'm not into that,"
Right.
which is a good move.
which is fine, right?
Good move. And but then obviously we get the scene where Jack Crackett gets killed. I'm just trying to mind my own business. But and this is the first kill of the movie, really. And Jack Crackett gets strangled and decapitated by
Right.
his own intestines,
Right.
which is obviously never
don't see
going to
that
happen.
very
And it's never going to happen.
No.
But it's such a good scene to see him, Victor Crowley, especially if you're just a fan of this series, you're like, I want the most absurd kills that a slasher movie can offer. And that's what this movie does.
Exactly.
It says, hey, I'm going to grab this guy's intestines out. Like, if you're waiting a year or two for this movie to come out, you're like, I can't wait for Victor Crowley. And then right off the bat, you get Victor Crowley comes out, rips a guy's intestines out, and then brings him in like a fucking rope.
Right.
Drags him in like a rope and then strangles him with his own intestines, decapitates him with them.
Right.
Which is an absurd
You don't see
kill.
that. You're not going to see that in anything else,
No,
right?
never. It's an absurd kill, but it's unfucking believable, dude. It's such a good start to the movie, and then we get an awesome title scene, intro scene with unbelievable music again.
Yep.
So good, man. And but what I wanted to get back to was you had mentioned that you thought that the actor from Frozen.
Yes, I
was the
thought
girl.
that.
So
I
it's-
thought
it's
that was
not-
the girl.
It's not her.
Where
But this
do we
is-
see her then?
This is great. I caught this, and this is probably the 10th time I've watched this movie, and I never caught this. But you have to be an Adam Green as a director fan, not just a Hatchet fan.
Right.
So obviously, Adam Green did the movie Frozen, not the Disney movie.
No.
Frozen was a movie that he
Rapunzel.
did. Yeah.
Rebuta the Buta.
So Frozen was a movie he did based on a group of kids, these three kids, 2 guys, 1 girl, who went to a ski resort in Massachusetts.
1 cup.
Northern Massachusetts. And they get stuck on the ski lift.
Right.
And the resort shuts down for the weekend.
Right.
Because of a huge snowstorm.
Yeah.
They get stuck on a ski lift and they're freezing up there. It's a great movie. Go watch it.
Really good movie. Yeah.
But so we get a reference to that movie in this. And I don't know if you caught it. And I didn't catch it after all these years.
I thought it was the girl.
No.
I did. I truly thought it was the girl in the shower.
So Mary Beth walks into Reverend Zombies, aka Tony Todd's character, right? She walks into Reverend Zombies' shop.
Yeah.
And she looks at a TV that's playing. And if you notice on the TV, it's a girl. And she says, yeah, I'm never going skiing again.
Oh my goodness.
She goes, I'm never going skiing again. And it's the actress from Frozen.
I just thought it was that girl. Literally, I saw that she was in and I was like, oh, that's her.
Different girl, because she's in a bunch of other shit too. She's
Oh,
in
yeah.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
She's got a bunch of other
Oh,
roles.
no, yeah. Without a doubt. She's
Yeah.
been in a bunch of shit.
Yeah. So different girls, but there's still a reference in. And if you go back and watch at the beginning, she walks into Reverend Zombie's workshop. There's a news is playing on the TV, and you see this interview with this girl, and she's got all cut up on her face, like she's got frostbite, and she said, I'll never go skiing again. And then it pans off, and I'm like, oh shit, Frozen. I literally paused it. I was like, the 13, 14 years that I've been watching this movie, I never
picked up on
caught
it.
it, dude. It was unbelievable. I was like, oh man, he's shouting out to his own movie. That's fucking hilarious. It was so good, dude. And there's a couple other references like that throughout the film.
Yeah. No, I thought this movie was... I actually thought it was a little slow getting going.
Well,
honestly.
I
Like,
think the budget was a little bit bigger too.
the budget was bigger, but I thought, you know, when I was watching it again, I'm like, okay, here we go. We start off fast, on the lake, right where we picked up from
Yeah.
the first one. And then it was slow for 25
Yeah,
minutes.
it slows right down.
For 25 minutes, you're like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah,
know,
and
a $5,000 reward. You know, he's really trying to just ramble people on.
Yeah.
To get the, and I understand it.
Of course,
I
of
truly
course.
do understand it. You're trying to get
you're trying to like rebuild the because basically you're going
expectation of everything.
you're going
yes.
in to do the same thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's shot the same exact way.
Exactly.
I mean, it's literally shot the same exact way as the first one. But now you're paying people $5,000 to go in and get Victor Crowley's head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, this is why honestly, Hatchet 2 is probably my least favorite of the franchise because it is a tad slow.
It is slow.
But it does build the storyline because we have some added material as far as the Victor Crowley lore goes, the legend of Victor Crowley. We get more of the story.
Right.
We now learn that
Right. There is a lot of background.
Yeah.
There is a lot of background that's shown throughout the
we get the
25, 30 minutes.
Exactly. We get more of the backstory than the first one of Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
Not just where it picks up in the first one where his dad loved him, kids found him weird because he was this.
Right. And I understand that, yeah.
And but now we get a backstory even more. We get the whole mother part of it, which I thought was very interesting because me and you are very big Pet Sematary fans.
Yes.
Okay. So if you notice, the backstory we get is that not only was Victor Crowley's dad kills him accidentally with the hatchet,
right?
Because some kids set off some fireworks or some firecrackers.
Her dad, her uncle, and a friend.
Her dad, her uncle, and another friend.
Right.
Which we find out anyway in this movie. But in the beginning, in the first movie, we find out that it's just three kids playing a prank, trying to get Victor to come out of the house because they want to see what he looks like. Because he's deformed. He's,
And you do get the backstory on that too, where he's like feeding him it's like fucking oatmeal or
it's
something.
Like some really weird.
And it's just
oatmeal.
running down his fucking.
And you get that same scene in 1 and 2. It's the same scene.
Yeah.
But we also get the backstory of, the dad's wife being sick, which you would think was Victor Crowley's mom, but it's not.
Right.
Which is cool because now the makeup makes more sense.
Yeah.
The darker skin of Victor Crowley because it was a mistress. His wife, Mr. Crowley's wife was sick.
Right.
And he falls in love with their nurse, who's black.
Who, I was just going to say, black woman.
Yeah. And we get this, which is weird because it's like the bayou and it's like this weird feel, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he falls in love with his nurse and he's kind of waiting. He feels guilty, but he's waiting for his wife to die.
Right.
She's got a sickness, can't be helped. Waiting for his wife to die, but at the same time, he's on the side. He's got the side chick with the nurse, right?
Right.
And then we get this scene where he gets with the nurse and she's with child. And then he feels guilty. He's waiting for his wife to die. Finally, the day comes where she dies.
Right. Finally.
And he can finally be at ease and he can be
Right.
with this nurse. But no, we get the wife to jump back up.
Right.
And you know what it reminded me of? Zelda.
Dude, I didn't want to say it, but Zelda, dude,
It reminds
it's so
me of Zelda.
It's so
The
prevalent.
curse that she puts on them, she curses the baby, obviously, in the nurse's stomach.
Yeah.
And that's why we get Victor Crowley the way he is.
Yeah.
Very deformed, demented.
Love it.
Yeah. And
Love
it's
it.
such a good story, but I was like, oh my God, that has Zelda from Pet Sematary vibes.
You know what? And I've been thinking a lot since the last time we did the podcast on Hatchet, where you were like, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. This is our slasher. This is our 2020 slasher. This is, you know what I mean? And at the time I was like, Jesus, got to be something else. I know there's Saw. I know there's all these other things, but it's not, dude. As if you want a slasher, if you want a gory
Like pure
motherfucker, you
slasher.
want a shock factor
Exactly.
motherfucker. This is it.
This is
and,
it.
And this is more shock factor than we've gotten with Halloween.
Oh yeah.
This is more shock factor than we've gotten with Nightmare on Elm Street. This is more shock factor even than Friday the 13th.
Not to mention 15 kills in this movie.
Right, because they have gone out and they have said, we're not worried about the backlash of anything. This isn't a fucking 10, 15, 20 million dollar budget.
Yeah, no.
This is a movie that is gonna be a cult movie.
Exactly.
That we're gonna put out for our fans, that we're gonna put out for horror fans only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you stumble upon it one of these days, great. But if not, fuck you. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Dude,
And that's why this movie works. That's why, honestly, this is our slasher.
Oh yeah.
This is our
is.
slasher. You hit the nail on the fucking
It
head.
is. It really
After
is.
I watched it again, I was like, "Yep, no, he knows it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, go fuck yourself.
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck,
Dude,
right?
and that's exactly what Dark Sky Films said.
Yeah.
Because most production companies looked at the first one, and then he got a bigger budget for the second one from Dark
Yeah.
Sky Films. Both of them were Dark Sky, by the way. All of them are Dark Sky. Mm-hmm. But he went with Dark Sky again because he was what companies usually do, production companies, is they say, okay, we didn't know the first one was going to be as big as it was,
right.
right? So what we're going to do is play off the first one. Most company would say, and Adam Green says this in the behind the scenes footage if you watch the bonus features on the DVD. Mm-hmm. Dark Sky, usually, or not Dark Sky, but most production company would say, okay, you have your niche and your fans of the first one.
Right. You have
but
your cult following.
How do we broaden to the people who maybe didn't like it? How do we get more people to watch it? And Dark Sky didn't do that. Dark
Right.
Sky said, you do what you're going to do, because Adam Green said, I don't want to cater to the people who didn't watch it, which
Exactly.
most
I
people
wanna
do
cater, I want to cater to the people
to the
who did.
fans. Exactly.
Right.
Most people would say to a director, okay, I want you to
And
try
I'll-
to reach
and-
people who didn't watch it.
And I'll be honest, I feel like they got away from that a little bit in the first hour of the movie. Mm-hmm. In the first hour of the movie, it was more plot. It was more let's do some more dialogue. You know what I mean? Let's have some more character development.
Yeah.
And me and you love character development.
Of course.
I'm not gonna say that we don't. I'm just saying that I think
Well, in slashers, you don't really get that a lot anyway.
agreed.
It's a certain genre.
Agreed. But I feel like the first hour of this one was slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Compared to the first one, especially.
Yeah.
And compared to the, I mean, I know we're going to talk about him later on in the
Exactly.
series. You know,
I think what he did with this one was, I think he knew he was going to make some more, and he was like, "Hey, I need to build this story, because how do we can't just keep if we're going well, I should say this. If we're going to keep going back to the swamp and have him just slaughter everyone, we got to have some sort of a story to keep going back. Right?
There's a reason.
We can't just send a bunch of random, because the first one was like random kids go back in, right?
Right.
We need to have a reason for people to keep going back into the woods.
Right.
So I think that's why he built that. But I really, it's awesome that Dark Sky was like, you do, because like I said, most production companies and directors would say, oh, I want to reach the fans. I want to make more money. So let's try to reach the fans that didn't like the first one and put some things in there that would intrigue them to watch the second one.
Well, I think that their thing was in this one, as far as reaching the fans, as far as reaching the horror base, as far as reaching a new spectrum of people, was Candyman versus Victor Crowley.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So
Tony Todd.
right. They want, and I'm saying Candyman because I think that most horror fans, when they see him, would say Candyman.
Okay, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I know
Absolutely.
Tony Todd, fine,
Absolutely,
whatever.
though.
But when you're looking at him, you're going, "That's fucking Candyman.
Yeah,
That's Candyman."
yeah, but that's not it though.
But I also feel like that's what they brought to this movie. It was almost Candyman versus
Victor Crowley.
Victor Crowley.
Yeah, well, because
know
Tony
what I
Todd's
mean?
acting skills are amazing.
Yeah, dude, he's a boss.
And
he is
will-
a fucking boss.
Dude, he used to text.
And literally when he puts his hands on Danielle Harris's shoulders in the beginning of this movie,
yeah,
and I know it's just a subtle part when she's talking to him and she's saying, "I need to talk to you about all this stuff," and he puts his hands on her and he starts crying, and you see his hands and it's like, dude, Candyman will kill you.
dude, yeah,
I fucking
seriously,
Candyman
yeah,
will fucking
that's all
eat you
think of.
alive, right? You know what I mean? It's
Adam
like
Green
you should.
knew that, dude.
Right.
Adam Green knew that, and,
Right.
and this is cool. This was in the bonus features as well. So Adam Green had done an interview, and he said Tony Todd would text me. He's like, the guy is so brilliant. What he would do, he would come to the set with like a Bible, that a script that would look like a Bible of like his lines and like the notes that he had made to make it even better. Like his
Right.
thoughts on what could make the character better, right?
Right.
And
You want somebody like that.
exactly. And he said Tony Todd would text him 2-3 in the morning on days where they were filming.
Tony Todd's out doing coke and he's like,
Yeah, seriously.
holy shit, dude. I
Like,
just thought of something
Yeah,
crazy.
he's-
You know what I mean?
He's like putting, and even just a movie like Hatchet 2, where like if you're Adam Green, you're probably like, this is Tony Todd. He doesn't need
No,
to cater to me at all.
Exactly. That's Tony Todd.
He's Tony
I'm
Todd.
so happy I got
Exactly.
him. Right.
And
Yeah.
you don't need to do that. This is
Yeah.
a B budget movie,
Yeah.
but Tony Todd is like coming to the sets with stacks of notes on what he could do better.
Dude, how crazy.
And
is
so
that?
he texts Adam Green like 2-3 in the morning. And he's like, and Adam Green said, I would read his text as if he was Candyman, which is hilarious.
Dude, I would
He's like,
too.
Tony Todd would text me and he's like, I have to read him as if he's Candyman.
He had him in his phone.
So he's reading his text and he's like, he goes, does Reverend Zombie know magic? And he's like, no, Reverend Zombie doesn't really know magic. He's a con artist.
Right. He's a con man. Yeah.
And then he goes,
Fuck.
yeah. Well, he's like, does he know magic? And he's asking all these things, and he keeps
Right.
being like, no, he's a con artist. He doesn't really know magic, right? And he's
Right.
like, and he kept texting him, being like, okay, but does he want people to think that he knows magic?
Mm-hmm.
So he'd send a thing being like, does he know magic? No, he doesn't know magic. He's a
Okay,
con
does
artist.
he think that
does
people know?
does people think he knows magic? No, he's a con artist.
Right.
People don't think he knows. They know he's a con artist.
They know he's a
And then he
con man.
goes,
Right.
and then Tony Todd sends a text that says, does he want people to think that he knows magic?
magic.
And he's like,
Dude,
sure.
As Tony Todd's sitting in his apartment and he's like doing magic tricks and
Well,
and
throughout
everybody-
the whole movie, he does it. You can
Exactly.
see him go like,
Yeah. Well, even when the guy Justin,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
looking at him. He's like, "Is my brother dead?" And he
goes-
grabs his head and he goes,
no.
"I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know."
And it's so funny. But now that you put that text into reference,
Exactly.
that makes sense. He sends that last text. He goes, does he want people to think that he knows magic? And he goes, sure.
Right.
And then that's what Tony Todd took upon. That's why he does the
Exactly.
thing. Even at the beginning when he has everybody in the room and he's like going up to people and like doing this weird shake and throwing his cape off. That's the role he took on. That this con artist thought that people thought that he knew magic.
Yeah, I think he wanted it to be a bigger role than it was. Does he know magic? Does he do magic?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and it adds to it. It adds to
it
the
does
character.
add to it. And he probably could have played with that a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But
you didn't need to.
But at the end of the second Hatchet movie, when you don't know if you're going to get a third,
Yeah,
I need to kill Candyman.
exactly.
I need to kill Candyman in a spectacular fashion. And that was probably what he was thinking the entire time.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
at the end of the day, he was thinking Candyman's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Reverend Voodoo.
Yeah, yeah,
Reverend
yeah, yeah.
Voodoo is dead.
Reverend Zombie, yeah.
Reverend
Reverend
Zombie.
Zombie,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, is dead, and it's just like he knew that the entire time, and he knew that he could not put more of an emphasis on something that he had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
He had come out and done right.
And you're right about the shtick of like Crowley versus Candyman. And Kane Hodder loved it too. He's like, he's such a brilliant actor. Let's
Absolutely.
face him off, you know?
Yes.
But also, back to your point of like it being kind of slow in the beginning.
It is slow.
It is, but I think Adam Greed had that purpose of building the story, and then also
Listen, I have no problem with the slow story. Me and
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about this
of course.
1,000 times. If I have a story, look at The Exorcist.
yeah,
Our favorite film, both of our favorite films. That's not a fast-paced movie.
no,
That is a very, very slow-paced movie that gives you little tidbits throughout. And then in the end, you're like, holy shit.
exactly.
So I don't have a problem with the slow-paced story. But with what it is, with these shock factor type of movies, and this is what it is,
Yeah,
Hatchet is a shock factor type of movie.
yeah,
You come out and you run an hour of... yeah, you see some gory pictures early on. You see
Yeah.
some titties early on, which...
of course,
Huge fan.
Gotta love.
Huge fucking fan.
of course,
I love the titties.
Of course,
I'm just saying. And then in the half hour, we see just brutality.
brutality.
And I love it.
Yeah,
And I love that. And you don't see that very much.
No.
You know what I mean? Especially nowadays.
absolutely.
You have the slow burn. You have the hereditary.
and then you have the big ending rather than like a bunch.
I
of
was
shit.
just gonna say that. And the ending is epic.
yeah, exactly,
And that's what they try to do.
yeah,
Even like Midsummer. And
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
we've talked about this 1,000 times. I hate Midsummer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same thing. It's a slow burn throughout the entire thing,
then
and
a
you're
big
kind
finale.
and then you have that big grand finale.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
But here's what I think he was also trying to do. He was trying to involve the other actors in this, okay?
right,
So we have all these people, and this is where we find a lot of characters that if you're a big horror movie fan, or even in B movies and things like that, this is where he comes in, okay?
right,
Hard hitters in this scene,
yep,
okay? So Uncle Bob,
mm-hmm,
Tom Holland.
yep,
That's Tom Holland.
right,
He directed Thinner, Child's Play. Two huge hitters. That's who Uncle Bob is. That's
Right.
fucking wild, man.
right,
And then we have R.A. I think it's Mihailoff, who played Trent. He's the big guy with the beard, biker looking dude.
right.
He played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. So 2 heavy hitters right there. And then obviously you have Tony Todd as Reverend Zombie. Also, the guy who plays Leighton, who I want to get into the sex scene of the
Oh my
girl
God.
and the guy.
What a scene!
So
that
do you know
is.
who that guy is? That's
No.
A.J. Bowen. He's the brother in I Trapped the Devil.
No,
Yeah. He's
No,
the
it
brother
is
of
not.
who Scott Poitras plays. He's the
the
brother,
white
Matt.
hair.
Matt. He's the brother.
No way.
Same guy but he's got a beard and
no
everything.
way.
And he's like kind of funny. He's kind of quirky.
Yes.
Same guy. So he has like 3 or 4 heavy hitters in this movie. And if you that's if you
And you say heavy hitters, but I Trap the Devil is a
not
is
a like B movie.
Yes.
Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 isn't a heavy hitter either. It's like people you would have to dig to kind of know. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right, but people who have done so much for the genre that
Yeah.
Yes.
So like that whole scene is filled with, this whole movie is filled with people who are known horror actors, you know what I mean? Big time people. And I just thought that was really cool how he kind of, I think he kind of took the time to give these characters roles.
Right.
And it is
Right.
a little, it obviously is slow. I agree. Like I said, this is
It is a slower burn.
This is my
Yeah.
least favorite of the franchise, but I still think it's fucking phenomenal. We get those actors throughout this entire thing. They're all main characters. I mean, Uncle Bob.
Right.
I mean, that's Tom Holland, man.
Right.
That's not
Right.
not Spider-Man Tom Holland, but
Oh, right.
that's Child's Play.
That's the original Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Thinner, dude.
Yeah.
Thinner. Child's Play. These are big hitters, man. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that he's in this movie is fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And like I feel like he does a good job of that, where he kind of gets these guys who have been in epic movies or
Yeah.
been a part of
He has
epic
a lot
movies.
of cameos.
I was just gonna say, or been a part of epic movies. And maybe it's not the mainstream guy. Maybe it's not somebody that is a household name, because
Yeah.
most people wouldn't know it.
Right.
But he wants to get them involved, and he wants to use them in a way that, okay, maybe 25 years down the road, when they look back on the future, when they look back on all this stuff and they say, "Holy shit, he was in that fucking movie."
in the
I didn't
fucking
even understand that.
Even
I
as
didn't
like
even know
even
that.
directors like Tom Holland, who did huge movie. I mean, Thinner's huge.
Thinner is
Child's
huge.
Play is even bigger.
Child's Play is
He also did.
huge.
He also did Fright Night 2.
Right.
Psycho 2.
Right.
Part of huge movies, and you wouldn't know because he's just the director, right?
Right.
But I mean, that's big stuff right there, man.
Yeah.
And like another thing I loved about this movie is Adam.
I almost thought that it was Gunner, the fisherman. at the
Right,
beginning.
right.
I truly did. I was like, "Holy shit, is that fucking Gunner?"
I know, crazy. Also,
Like-
we have a cameo of the kid from Frozen.
Yeah,
He gets his face
he
sliced
gets his
off.
face sliced off in like 2 seconds.
Oh my god,
right.
so good. And that's
And he's
another
been
thing.
in he's been in a
He's
shit
been in a
ton of
bunch of
stuff.
shit. Oh, yeah.
Like honestly, I know we're getting a little off topic here, but did you ever watch the series The Following?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
and,
so good.
and he's in
And
that
he's in it,
series.
yeah.
And he's in that series. And so he's almost always been a horror type of guy.
Exactly,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? He's been and I won't say The Following is a horror movie.
No.
But it's very niche.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon and
Still horror actors.
Oh
like,
yes, it's
absolutely.
all all horror actors.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying he was also in that, and he plays a hell of a role in that.
Absolutely, man. So to have him have a
Little
a cameo in
yeah.
there, and it also
and he's a big name actor. I
Yeah.
won't say big name, but
But
like
pretty big.
He's not Bruce Willis. He's
No,
not
of
Mel
course
Gibson.
not.
You know, what
but
I
he's
mean?
been in like roles that are like you remember him for who he is. Like,
Exactly.
his face is recognizable.
Yes, his face is very recognizable.
And even like his kill, like Adam Green took the
his
time.
face ain't recognizable after that. After that kill,
Face slides right off.
face
baby.
slides down.
Adam Green and the team really took time. First of all, for the detail of Victor Crowley.
Right.
He looks even better in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Which you could have just gone with the same makeup, same mask, but no, they
But why
go
would you?
even harder.
Right. Well, why would you?
Yeah, and then 3 times as many kills.
Yeah.
What the one thing that Adam Green got?
And you don't even realize it. Like, if you watch this and you watch 1 and 2,
Yeah,
you're almost watching 1 because 1 is like, there's a kill every 10 minutes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's killing somebody every 10 minutes.
But
And
there's still only like 5 or 6 kills.
Exactly. But the second one, it's almost like you're waiting.
Dude,
you're waiting.
15 kills.
But you're waiting.
Yeah,
You're waiting.
exactly.
You're waiting.
That's what you want.
And he's killing 2 people at once. He's fucking chainsawing people in half.
Couple double kills.
Exactly, yes.
And we'll get into that for sure. But I really wanted to go into like the detail that they put into Victor Crowley. You could have just gone with the original look, but they made him look even more badass in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Gave him even a little more screen time,
Yeah.
which I thought was so cool, especially for Kane Hodder, who not only is Victor Crowley, but is the stunt coordinator.
I was just gonna say, and you see Kane Hodder just as Kane Hodder,
yeah,
several times,
which is so
for this
cool.
one.
And he has more acting in this film.
And when he cries, like it's like that's acting. He's truly acting. He's not in makeup. He's not killing somebody. That's Kane Hodder.
And that's
acting.
a cameo in itself.
Yeah,
And then of course you have
absolutely.
Perry Shen again, who plays not only Sean
Right.
in the beginning,
And
but he
Justin.
also plays Justin, his
Right.
brother, his twin brother
His
in the
twin.
second one.
Of
is
course,
so
you
good.
love that.
And
you
here's
know
the
what I
best
mean?
part is that he's literally in every single one. He's in all of the films.
Yeah.
It's fucking so good.
Right.
And then obviously I want to get to like the kills here before we start to wrap things up. So many kills. Like I said, about 15 kills. That's like 3 times as many as the first one. That was the one thing that fans said about Adam Green's
Did it feel
first.
like there was more kills in this one to you though?
Yes.
It feels like that?
Yeah, it does only
See,
because
it
you
didn't
have
to
all
me.
the kills where Tony Todd's character is telling the story of Victor Crowley.
Yeah, okay,
So you
I get
all
that.
the little kills
Right,
as well.
I get that too.
But then, I mean, let's go through it, man. You get Jack Crackett kill, right? You get the kill when Tony Todd's telling the story of the jaw rip.
Right.
He rips the jaw right off this guy.
Right.
Then you have what's his name from Frozen get his face cut off. Then you have,
but these are all in the past. These
yep.
aren't fresh.
But then you
kills.
finally get the guy. You get the first guy there that's beaten with an axe in the face.
Yeah, blunt end, fucking
Yeah,
just smashing.
and then you get the
it.
next guy that's next to him. He gets his face torn off by a boat propeller,
Yep.
which is a great fucking scene.
Great scene.
Then you get the sex kill. Now, mind you, you get double kills.
That is my favorite.
It's so good.
I'm gonna go to that and just say when she's like talking and she's got her tits out and he's got her bent over
and
all
obviously
this
they've
shit.
had a relationship in the past.
Right. Oh yes.
So you kind of get some character development with these two.
Exactly.
But it ends very quickly.
Right. She obviously wants to be back with him, and he's kind of doesn't know what to do about it and all this shit. And then he's fucking her.
Yeah.
Bent over. She's got her fucking tits out, flapping around, you know. And don't get me wrong.
Total horror movie style.
Cheers to that, because who
That's
doesn't
horror,
love
that's slasher
who
style.
doesn't love good titties
That's the
with
slasher genre.
that blondie. That blondie just with her tits out, you know? And then she's sitting there and she's like, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" And he's like,
He's coughing.
Yeah. And do you love me more than Jesus? And he's like,
Oh,
I don't know if we should say that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, or whatever.
that's kind of like off topic.
right. I don't know if I should say that. And she's
Yeah.
like, "Do you love me more than baby Jesus?" And he's like, he's still fucking her, and he's like, maybe about the same.
Yeah, he's like, it's the same amount.
right.
Same
It's
amount.
the same amount.
He's like trying to just keep going.
And then she's just like, "Say you love me," and it's like, I love you. You know what I mean?
it's so good. And
It's
then obviously,
so good.
obviously Victor comes behind, slashes his head off, and then he just starts convulsing.
Right, and he's fucking the shit out of her.
He's
And
fucking
she's
her
like,
harder.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
Then he stops.
Don't stop. Don't stop. What are you doing? And she's
Did you
trying
fall?
to.
Did you fall asleep on me
Right,
again?
she's trying to lean back on him like
Yeah.
we've been there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody's been there. And then she turns around and she just sees his head is gone.
Yeah.
And then she sees Victor and it's like, oh fuck.
And then we get a great kill where he puts his axe into her
Right.
chest.
No, he puts her
Right
his axe
between-
right between her
Yeah.
legs at that first point.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we get that first, and then we get it right between her boobs, right? And it's such a good kill because he's like gets his axe, his hatchet stuck. And he's like
right.
trying to pull it out. Finally does. We get the famous, or for Hatchet anyway, the blood, the sprayed blood on the tree.
Right.
It's such a Hatchet move, right?
And they did a great job because it's like the axe is between her tits and they
Yeah.
just keep showing it.
Exactly.
And he's just trying to pull it out. And it's like, well, I know I shouldn't be turned on by these tits with an axe between them,
Yeah.
but I am.
But I am.
but I am
Exactly.
somehow. You know what I mean? So,
And then we get the chainsaw double kill,
oh yeah.
which is the biggest. First of all,
it's the biggest chainsaw I've ever seen in my
Like
life.
where did he get it?
Right,
Like
dude.
it's so over
California,
the
he's cutting redwood,
top,
fucking
dude. Seriously,
cedar down, you know.
dude, it's fucking hilarious, and it's such a good kill,
Yep,
dude. It's such a good kill. He goes right up between them, right,
both of them.
both of them, and
Both of 'em.
we literally see their balls come out from below, like
Yeah,
their
oh,
nutsack splits, and we see all their testicles come down, and it's fucking hilarious. Which I will say, make sure you watch part 3 because we will get to that.
Oh yes, yes.
We will get for part 3. We will get back to the testicle kill. Here.
Oh yeah.
But here's my thing: is everybody so hopped up? And I'm getting a little off topic, but not much. Everybody always posts and they say it's such a great kill when in the movie Terrifier, when the
Oh,
girl gets
jeez.
split down the middle.
Right.
Where's the love for Hatchet 2?
Right.
These two guys at the same
Yeah.
time with the biggest chainsaw I've ever seen get split right down the middle.
Agreed.
On top, they're literally
Agreed.
riding a chainsaw, dude. Where's
Yeah.
the love? Where's the
you
love?
you just hate Terrifier.
I do.
That's
I do. I
you-
don't like that movie at all.
You
man.
hate Terrifier.
I
and
thought it was
that's-
poorly done. I really do.
It's fine. That's
And
fine.
but everybody loves
dude.
that kill. They're like, "Oh, I've never seen anything like that." Hatchet 2 did it first.
What
with
about
two
what
guys.
about Bone Tomahawk?
Yeah,
Bone Tomahawk,
absolutely.
same thing.
Absolutely.
They split a girl in half with
Yep.
an axe.
and none of them get any love.
Well, it's not even an axe. It's like a bone fucking
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
where they're just
yeah.
fucking chopping her in half and then they fucking rip her apart.
But for some reason, Terrifier is like, oh, it's the first one to do that. No,
It's
sorry.
no.
It's like the third or fourth one to do that.
Yeah, it's
And-
probably more than
And
that.
movies like
Yeah.
Hatchet do not get the credit just because it was two guys.
Or Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah.
Or
because
Bone
it was
Tomahawk.
two guys, it doesn't get the fucking credit,
Yeah.
which I thought was bullshit. Great kill. Best of the movie? We'll see. Also,
Maybe.
after that, we get the belt sander kill on
I
Justin.
know you love the belt sander.
Because you got it in
right
the
when I was
first, you got
watching
it in the
yeah,
second.
you got it in
Oh,
the second.
such
It's
a
like
good
he
kill.
fucking revs it up and you're like, oh, the belt sander.
I just
again.
love that he
Yeah.
randomly has all these power tools in the middle of this weird swamp. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
so
you see
funny.
that it's a fucking. You see that he has the fucking mixed gas, so you
Oh, yeah.
know you know it's a fucking.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
hooked up.
It's
or
not
anything.
hooked up,
So it's
right.
fine, but it's like, still, where's he getting all this shit? You know?
I love that though.
Oh, it's so good.
How many times have I said?
It's obnoxious,
How many
you know?
times have I said when you watch a nail gun shoot,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the way a nail gun shoots.
right.
But at least they fucking made a point to show that this is a gas powered fucking chainsaw
Exactly.
or a gas powered fucking whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's obnoxious. It's
Yes.
so funny, dude.
Yes.
Like, where did he get this chainsaw? Where does he get the belt sander? It's not like anybody fucking lives out there other than Jack Crockett, apparently. So maybe he gets it from Jack Crockett's
Maybe
house
he gets it from Jack's.
while he's drinking his own piss.
Maybe drinking his pee pee.
And then after that, we get
Does Danielle Harris drink that pee?
no. She does. They never show it.
never
She goes
drinks
to
the
drink
pee.
it, and then
I
he
know.
asks her name. She brings it back down, and you're like, oh, she almost drank it.
Right.
It's
The
so
whole
good,
time,
man.
the whole time you're looking at it, and he's like, "It's still warm," and
Yeah.
and she's just like, "What? What?" And it's like, "Oh god,
So close
Just
every time.
Drink it. Drink the pee.
It's like the most dramatized part of the movie, which is so funny, dude.
Very erotic."
And then after that, we obviously get the head split on the table by Trent. So we have a
Right.
little back and forth with these two big guys, right?
Right.
Which I thought was cool because Kane Hodder, as a stunt coordinator, allowed that actor who played Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 to do his own stunts. They're like, he said himself, he's like, let's make this back and forth. Like, obviously Victor Crowley is this big guy, but so are you. So let's make it believable where you go back and forth and one might have the edge and then it turns, right?
Right.
Which was really cool. And at the end, we get like this curb stomp kill, but on like the side of it.
I was just gonna say it's
thing
a
of a
curb.
table.
It's the biggest curb stomp other than American
Yeah.
History X that
Exactly.
you can find. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? American
Probably-
History X. I'll never take anything away from that.
I never will because of only
Because of what it was.
Strictly, also because of the sound of the guy's teeth biting the curb.
Right. You can
Oh,
almost
you
feel
can
it.
feel it
You can
go
almost
through your
feel
teeth.
the
It's so
American
bad.
History X.
But
yeah.
this is such a good kill with the heel to the back of the head, and then his top of his head just slides across the table.
right.
Such a good kill, good effects, and it's practical,
Yep.
which is awesome. I really, really, really like that kill, but still not the best. Now we have a death here that's a kind of a mystery. Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bobby. Yeah, we never see it.
We don't see what
You
happens,
don't
but
see
there's
it.
a lot of blood. And there's
Lots
a
of
lot
blood.
of noise but
Coming out of the windows.
It's a mystery.
Coming out of the door.
I wonder what happened. I wonder if we could ever talk to Adam Green if we would know what actually happened to Uncle Bob.
We'll probably never know.
true.
Because like when you see that much blood, you know something bad has happened.
Yes, yes.
Obviously. You know what I mean? You don't know how it happens.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't the focal point.
No, exactly.
The focal point was Danielle Harris being held by Tony Todd
With
or
a zombie,
Candyman.
Yep,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? I like to just say Candyman.
No, but that's a good point because it was the focal point because he also the whole point is that that's not her real uncle.
Exactly, and then she.
So the
gives
whole
it to
point
him,
for
right?
Tony Todd's character, Reverend Zombie, to get her uncle out there, and then Trent out there, the character Trent, was because they were the other two that were with her dad to
When
throw
they-
the firecrackers
right, exactly.
on Victor Crowley's porch.
Yep.
So he thought and this is all very selfish, right?
Right.
He thought if he could break the curse that way, if all these three died, then the curse is broken. Victor Crowley gets his revenge. The swamp can open back up. He can start his tourism business again.
Exactly.
And that's not the case.
No.
Because she says we got a little M. Night Shyamalan twist ending here where
That ain't my fucking uncle.
That's
That's
not
my
my-
dad's best friend. My uncle
Exactly.
died when I was 12 years old
of
from leukemia. Right.
And you're like, oh shit, we got a little story here.
Right.
Nice.
So how does the curse end? Does it never end?
Does it never
Because
end?
he's never able to get his vengeance.
Right?
You know
We'll
what I
have to
mean?
wait to see what happens.
Maybe.
The next third or fourth movie here.
Right.
But after that, we obviously he's not dead.
Right.
She says to him, "That's not my real uncle," and you're like, "Oh shit, he's not dead. He's coming back."
Right.
Now we get Tony Todd's character's death, which, in my opinion, is the best
It's
death
the best
of
one.
the movie.
Yep. 100%.
He is literally he is cut in half and pulled out of his own skin.
His backbone is like
Oh,
he's
he
just pulling his
grabs
fucking
his
backbone.
spine and rips him out of his own skin.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome, dude.
Looks great.
It looks so good,
And
man.
what makes Tony Todd want to do that? Like,
I know.
honestly, like, because he is an icon. He
Yeah,
is an
oh, yeah.
epic figure in horror. He is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Brilliant actor.
He's an icon,
Yeah.
just like I said. And for him to be able to say, well, you know what? In this movie, I'm gonna just die that death.
Yeah.
When you pull Tony Todd's backbone from him after cutting him in half with a
Yeah.
hatchet,
So good, man.
that's some balls right
Oh.
there. That is some fucking. He's just like, no, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Fuck it,
do
do
it.
it. Right,
Because it's
do
such
it.
a good kill.
Do it. Right.
And you see him after
And
just
the- and
lift
the-
him
and-
up.
Right, and that's the end kill.
And
That's truly
that
the end kill.
animatronic of him or whatever it is out of his skin is like,
Yeah.
you're just like, whoa, man, that is so cool. It's
Right.
not CGI'd or anything like that.
Right.
It
It's
is
all practical,
so cool
yeah.
looking. And then he just tosses him into the woods.
Yeah.
He's like, "Ugh," toss him out. It's so
He gone.
fucking good, man.
He gone.
And so here's my question to you, since we're doing this whole Hatchet series in parts. So far, our favorite kill from the first one was the jaw rip.
Yeah.
When the old lady gets caught and Victor Crowley rips her jaw off,
Yeah.
grabs the bottom, grabs the
Right.
top, and rips it upwards.
See, I'm still actually a fan of him just hacking fucking the old man's fucking arm.
So
off,
that's
like-
your favorite kill.
so far, yes.
So it's your
so
favorite,
far.
but do you think it's the best?
It's probably not the best, but I think
So
I
what do you
think there's
feel?
a lot
'Cause
of shock factor
I'm,
there.
I'm really trying to build a little bit of a tournament here. What is the best kill of the Hatchet series?
Mm.
So far for me, the number one is Tony Todd getting ripped out of his skin.
That's number one for you.
Well, it's
I
the best so
can't
far.
do it. I can't do it.
So what's your best?
It's the man getting hacked.
The man getting
It's
hacked.
fucking
Okay.
right, hacked and hacked.
So far the best we have is the man getting hacked, and then Tony Todd getting ripped out of his skin.
and the jaw
And the
then
jaw.
and you got
and the jaw. So you
right.
want two from the first one. I was trying to pick one
See-
from each movie.
See, I think you have to take two from the first one because
Okay.
I feel like there's probably two or three from the first one that you can really look at and be like, wow. Because I've seen a few of the other ones.
yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
How do you go against it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've been going for shock factor from day
course.
one. And that's what I love about this series. And I know we've talked about it. I don't really like the comedy aspect of a lot of horror movies, but there is a comedy aspect in Hatchet.
Yeah.
There just is.
It's a total popcorn movie.
Right.
dude.
They just play that aspect of it where you're gonna have some laughs through it at
Absolutely.
the same time.
And it's brilliant because what it does is it make you, when you have that big kill, you're like, oh,
Fuck,
like,
dude, I did not expect
It's
that.
like being on like a roller coaster. You're like,
Exactly,
oh shit,
yeah.
I did not expect that,
Right.
man. That was fucking awesome. That was such a thrill.
That guy was hilarious.
So I
now
wanna-
he's dead.
Exactly. So I want to keep in mind of the best kills from these movies. So at the very end,
Oh,
when we
yes.
do the fourth series here, that we can compare and see what the best kill is throughout the
Yeah.
entire series.
100%. And I'll say that we should do the same thing when we do the aliens
Oh yeah.
or
Any series we do, and we're going to do some
exactly.
series coming up.
Yeah.
So I want to keep that in mind. So right now we have like the jaw ripping scene, the hacking up in the first one, and then we have Tony Todd's.
Is that
Let's pick two from each then.
Is that the old man where he hacks him up? in
Yeah,
half?
yeah.
It is the old man.
Oh yeah, right
from-
through the
yeah.
through the shoulder blade.
right through
there.
the shoulder, and he's just
Yeah.
fucking hacking.
It's like the
and
first
hacking.
kill.
Right.
So let's take two from each then. We have the jaw ripping scene in the first one, and then the hacking up on the first one.
Yeah.
Second one, we have Tony Todd's ripping out of his
And
skin.
then you probably
scene.
have the chainsaw cutting in half.
I think so.
I mean, that's probably the.
I think so.
That's
So
probably
the
second best
double
of this
kill,
scene. Yeah,
the
of this
double
movie,
kill,
yeah.
because I would put the sex scene in there, but it's also
Dude, yes.
but it is two separate kills technically.
It is two separate.
It's like I feel
kills,
like you have to pick
but it's
either
very
the,
erotic.
because it is.
It's very
I
erotic.
think it's one of the better scenes in the series
Yeah.
so far. But as far as kills go, they're definitely two different.
Do you
different
love
kills.
me as much as you love baby Jesus? And he's just like,
Now, if he would have cut the guy's head off, and then the scene happens where he's still having sex with the girl, and then he cuts her head off, I would count that as one kill scene. But since the chainsaw scene is literally the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen in any movie, with the longest chainsaw of all time,
Right.
I gotta put it in that.
right. It's
Both
an
guys are
epic type
killed,
of
and you
thing,
literally
right?
see
Yeah.
their balls come out. Like it's
Right.
fucking hilarious.
Right.
So for the first two, the first one we have the hacking scene and the jaw ripping scene, and then in the second one we have the chainsaw double kill with Tony Todd getting his
And Tony
ripped
Todd,
out of his
how
skin.
do you- and really,
So
Tony
good.
Todd isn't even like.
So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah. No.
Let's keep those in mind. Those
Yeah.
4 so far. When we do Hatchet 3, we'll come up with 2 more,
Yeah.
and then Hatchet 4, which is Victor Crowley.
Crowley, right.
We'll do 2 more.
Yeah.
So keep those in mind. Now I do want to add that because just to wrap it up, at the end of the movie we get Mary
Danielle
Beth.
Harris.
Yeah, Danielle Harris, Mary Beth.
Can I just say this? I think I might be in love with Danielle Harris.
I don't blame
think
you.
I am literally in love with this.
I don't
girl.
blame you.
She
She's that
is-
good. She's that
She
good.
is beautiful. She's been in horror movie after horror
yeah.
movie. She is,
And that's
a
like
true,
all she wants to be in. It's unbelievable.
I know.
She's been in a few other things here and there, but
Yes, but she
still.
knows she's a
she's
scream
she's
queen.
a scream queen, dude.
She
Absolutely.
is a scream queen.
So at the end, obviously, we get Mary Beth blowing Victor Crowley's head off. Right. That's how it ends.
After smashing him with the fucking hatchet.
Yeah, exactly. So
And that's the end of the series.
exactly again,
Hatchet 2, that's
it's
it.
done. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Dude, she killed him.
No, but we really the second movie ends just like the first one does.
Yeah.
Which means
Very
you know
abrupt.
you're getting a third,
Yeah,
baby.
very, very
You just
abrupt.
know you're getting a third.
Yeah.
And it just ends. It goes black. Boom,
Yeah.
done. Soundtrack comes on. Unbelievable. You just know as a Hatchet fan you're getting a third.
Right.
Which
Absolutely.
we're going to touch on episode not 20,
21.
but 21, baby.
Yeah.
Very excited for it. I love these movies, man. So
Yeah.
far, 1 and 2, you got classics as far as slasher genre
Absolutely,
goes,
yeah.
and as far as the 2000s go.
Yep.
The early to mid 2000s we're getting into now. Like I said in the first series episode, this is if you're born in the late 90s.
Dude, the more I look at it,
Yep.
like you've said, like
I mean, we were born in the late 80s.
late 80s. I was
Okay,
88,
but
you were
still,
89.
We still, so we grew up on Halloween and,
Yep.
and Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream.
Yep.
Scream was like our
Scream
slasher.
was also our slasher.
But we were still
but
like-
it's no, but Scream, we've talked about it. That's not a slasher. That's not a single slasher.
It's not a
That's-
single guy.
That is a costume.
Yes.
That a slasher takes.
Exactly. It's
So-
in the
so-
slasher genre.
Right, and I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate that aspect
Oh,
of it.
I love Scream.
Me too.
Love Scream.
Love,
which we will
love,
do.
love
Which
Scream.
we will do.
We will touch at some point. But like you said, if you're looking for a single slasher for our generation, it probably has to be Victor Crowley. It can't be fucking the Saw killer.
No.
It can't. What's his name? Billy or
Again, who didn't do his own killings.
who
like-
didn't do his own killing?
like he did for a while.
Right. He always played somebody else. He
Well,
always
like by the third Saw movie, he was like sick.
right.
And now other people are carrying
Exactly.
on his legacy.
Yes.
Kind of like Scream. Scream's still better. Way better.
Scream's still
So
way
Ghostface is above him anyway. So even if you're going to add Ghostface in that slasher Mount Rushmore, which I still do,
better. Right. I do too.
but still, this is the early 2000s, late 90s. Early 2000s, if you were born in the late 90s, you grew up in the early 2000s, this is your slasher.
Right.
It just is.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about it. It just is.
Who is
Accept
it?
it.
Who is it other than this? I
No
mean,
one.
me and you would know.
Yeah,
I mean, I
and
feel
it's
like
no
we
one.
would know.
It's no one. If anybody out there, if you're listening or you're watching,
Is
let
there
me
a
know
better
another slasher.
Is there a better slasher?
And you can't just give me one movie. One guy.
No,
you can't do that.
There has
That's
to be
not
there
what a
has to be
slasher is.
series
It has to be a
of-
franchise.
Okay, but I'm not gonna lie. If you want to give me a better slasher, even if it is one movie, give it to me. I'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I will think about it.
Absolutely.
And if that slasher is so good that it takes over a series of movies, great.
Exactly.
Great.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
But we want to hear it. I gotta hear it.
I want to hear it.
So you let me know if you were born in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you were. I'm sorry. Listen, I understand if you're a horror fan, but if you're born in like 93, 92, still Ghostface. You're only like 8 years old.
Right.
That's our guy.
That's our guy.
That's our guy. Ghostface is our guy. We're born in the late 80s,
Right.
so we have
our
Ghostface.
motherfucker.
Sorry.
So
If
grow
you
up.
were born in the late 60s, you got Michael Myers.
Right.
If you were born in the late 70s, you got Freddy Krueger.
Right.
If you were born in the late 80s, you got Ghostface.
Right. That's our boy.
That's our boy, dog. You can't have him.
No.
You
Grow
can't
up.
have him.
Grow up. Go on now, you grow up.
Your slasher is Victor Crowley. And like I said in the first one, I'll say it again.
And who's going to be the next great
I
slasher?
would welcome him with open arms.
Who's the next great slasher, though?
There isn't one.
Who's the next great slasher? There's got to be
see.
one.
We'll see.
Maybe it will be one of mine.
Yeah.
Or one of yours.
We'll see.
Or one of yours.
Or one of yours.
Hey, we need people out there.
Yeah.
We need people
Start
out there
making
willing
movies,
to take
baby.
risks.
Absolutely. We're making our own short horror film right now. We're gonna have you. That's a ways away right now, but we touched on it last episode a little bit. We're working on something.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it comes out great.
absolutely.
But again, if you grew up in the early 2000s, you're born in the early 90s, Victor Crowley is your boy.
Right.
Accept him with open arms because
And you should.
he's a hell of a slasher,
And you
man.
should accept
He's
him
up
with
there,
open arms.
man.
Right.
So that's our episode, guys. Hatchet number 2. Second in the series. We got 2 more episodes for the Hatchet series. Bring out the tequila. I love it.
Love it.
So far you rate you like the first one over the second.
I'll take the first one over the second.
too.
Even
Me too.
though I love Danielle
too.
Harris.
Yeah, me too.
That's my only.
Now I'm very interested to get into Hatchet 3 because I will say in this episode Hatchet 3 is my all-time favorite.
I know
baby.
you've told me,
But we won't talk about it.
But we've done a good job of keeping each hatchet to its own
Absolutely.
entity.
So that's what we're gonna do.
And that's why we want you guys to watch them. If you haven't seen them, if you haven't watched them, watch them as you
do this,
Watch
yeah.
Hatchet.
This is
Listen
a
to the
chance.
podcast. Watch Hatchet 2. Listen to the podcast. And in 2 weeks, watch Hatchet 3.
Exactly.
And listen to the podcast.
And since we've been talking about it, if you are born in the late 90s, hit us up. Let
Yes.
us know what you think. Watch these movies because this is your guy. I
Right.
understand if you're born in the late 90s and you love the old movies. I get that. That's fine.
Right.
We were born in the late 80s. I still love Michael Myers. I still love Freddy
Yes.
Krueger.
Halloween.
I still love Jason Voorhees.
Right.
But this is your guy. So if you
Yeah.
haven't watched it and you like slasher movies, make sure you watch Hatchet because this is your man.
Right. This is our generation.
Accept him, baby. Hey,
Adam Green.
Adam Green.
Here's to Adam Green.
Here's to Victor
Episode
Crowley.
19.
Episode 19.
Victor Crowley. You
We
like-
we have episode 20 coming up.
It's gonna be a big one.
It's going to be a big one. Obviously, like we said, Hatchet 3 is going to be episode 21. So we have an
Yeah.
episode in between. We haven't decided what we're doing for 20 yet, but it's going to be something big.
There's a lot up in the air right now.
So stay tuned for that.
And we might go to you guys.
Yeah,
as
we
far
might.
as-
We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a big one.
It's gonna be a big one.
Gonna
be
Again,
epic.
go to, before we take the shot, I'm eager to take it just as you are. But make sure you follow us on Instagram if you could. To
At
Kill a
New England
Monster.
HOA. Go ahead.
At To Kill a Monster, which is this man right over here, Matt, my co-host. Go follow him. That's To Kill a Monster. That's the number 2 Kill a Monster on Instagram. Go ahead and follow me, which is New England HOH. That's New England Home of Horror, if you type it in. Make sure you subscribe
Yeah.
and like the podcast on
Absolutely.
YouTube if you're watching. Also, if you're listening on audio, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, Buzzsprout, all those, thank you for the continued support. We've been with you guys for a year now.
Yeah. Over a year.
Most of our listens are there. We're really trying to build up the YouTube. So if you want to switch over,
Even if you're even if you're still listening, and you don't finish the episode, put it on your
Yeah,
TV.
switch it
Put it
over.
on your computer. You know.
I know we're not the prettiest people in the world.
Hey, speak for yourself, motherfucker.
But hey,
sexy boy.
we're doing the video for a reason. We want to give you guys an extra little
An extra medium, man.
yeah, and it's just an extra thing that we're trying to build, and we're gonna have some other things other than the podcast coming, like we've talked about, and it's just another way for us to create content.
Yeah.
And we've been enjoying doing the video so far.
Absolutely.
So make sure you subscribe and like there on YouTube, and keep following on Buzzsprout, Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify.
Right.
We really appreciate it. You can hit us up. Make sure you hit the merch store.
Yeah.
If you see Matt here, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see his Home of Horror podcast sweatshirt. Turn right to the camera there, Matt. Yeah, there you go. You can purchase that. It comes in shirts, tank tops, baseball tees, crew necks,
Love it.
mugs, fucking stickers. Go buy it. Support the show. If you look at me here, we got our new design for New England Home of Horror.
Love it.
Got a brand new logo design done by Scott Jackson from Monster Man Graphics. Beautiful, beautiful werewolf design. I love the
Absolutely
old
love
traditional Wolfman. So
Oh, yeah.
you can go pick that up, and we just appreciate the support, man.
Yeah.
Very,
And we're
very
just
happy.
having fun. We're just fucking horror
Just
fans,
having
just like
fun,
the rest
man.
of you guys.
And we're just very happy that you guys are here to experience this with us and enjoy this with us. And so cheers to you.
Cheers.
Matt, take us out.
May the power of Christ compel you. Later.
Talk to you guys later. Home of Horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Home of Horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Horror podcast. So that's your third Stephen King?
Don't start with me, dude.
I bet they spent less than $50,000 on that movie.
$252,000.
Oh wow, really? Home of Horror, Home of